Welcome to this presentation on disability resources and access services. We're so happy you've chosen to be part of the University of Rochester family and that you're eager to learn about our services. We are committed to inclusion, access, and making sure we have a richly diverse campus community. Disability, of course, is a vital component of diversity in any community, and our passion and mission in the Office of Disability Resources is to make sure that students with disabilities have equal access to all components of the educational environment. This can include everything from the university's academic and extracurricular offerings, as well as campus events, student services, and housing. My name is Jen Pracio. I am an access specialist, and I'll be your tour guide today, giving you a brief overview of who we are, what we do, and how to request services. Enjoy the tour, and if you have any questions, our contact information will be listed at the end of the presentation. We would love to meet or chat with you at any time during the year. The primary mission of our office is to promote equal access and inclusive experiences for undergraduate and graduate students with disabilities. We also provide guidance and education to the university community on disability-related topics. As such, we are a central resource to all students, faculty, and staff for schools and programs throughout the University of Rochester. There are 4 overlapping circles on this slide, one each for the student, faculty, staff, and the 4th is for disability resources. At the center, the nexus of these circles is the word access. This is because access is something everyone at the university contributes to and is responsible for providing. The main point here is that our approach relies on collaboration among students, staff, and instructors. On the left portion of the slide, we have a listing of some of the work that we do with students. We work directly with students on determining appropriate accommodations and academic adjustments. We work to find assistive technology and other solutions to all kinds of disability-related challenges. When necessary, we assist students in finding textbooks and other materials in accessible formats. We work with students on brainstorming strategies for self-advocacy and can coach students on how to best communicate with others about disability-related issues. We like to keep students who are registered with our office up to date on resources and opportunities that might be particularly relevant to students with disabilities. And you don't have to be receiving accommodations in order to register with our office and receive updates and information from us. We also work closely with many other campus partners, including our many dedicated faculty and staff, as is mentioned on the right hand of this slide. We help faculty and staff members to understand their rights and responsibilities when it comes to academic accommodations. We answer questions and offer training opportunities to faculty and staff who want to learn more. And we often consult with university event planners in making their events more accessible. This should give you just an idea of some of the work that we do in the Office of Disability Resources. This slide is particularly meant for any first-year students we might have on our tour. Okay, first-year students out there, you may or may not have received disability-related accommodations in high school. If you did, these may not necessarily be the same accommodations you will receive at the University of Rochester. Also, you may notice a difference in the way accommodations work at the university level. In high school, services were set up and provided by a team of teachers and parents with an aim of promoting your success. When you enter college, though, the responsibility shifts. You, the student, must seek out assistance by contacting disability services offices like the UR Office of Disability Resources to arrange access. Instructors will not be modifying their essential course requirements and standards. Also, your instructors will probably not be reminding you about your responsibilities and deadlines as much as they did in high school. In college, students are generally expected to keep on top of their tasks and time management. We want to make sure you can access the same opportunities that every student has access to as a member of the campus community. You will have lots of resources available to help you succeed, But ultimately, it will be up to you whether you make the move to utilize these resources and put in the work to be successful at the university level, just like it will be for any other student. This is a fundamental change in the way that you relate to your instructors and advisors. As a college student, you will now initiate all services and accommodations instead of the school taking care of that for you. If that sounds a little daunting, never fear. We are always happy to meet with any student who wants to discuss the differences between accommodations at the university and what you may have experienced in the past. As with any campus resource, we are here to support you and cheer you on. It can take time and practice to learn to better advocate for your needs. Successfully navigating your way through college as a student who happens to have a disability can sometimes take a little time to master, and we are always here for assistance and encouragement. Of course, we don't only work with first-year students. Many of our new requests for academic accommodations come from transfer students and graduate students. If you have received accommodations at a previous college or university, make a note of that on your Disability Resources application. You might also wish to submit a letter from your prior school's Disability Services Office showing that you received accommodations as supporting documentation, in addition to any other documentation you may be providing with your application. Graduate students have many unique challenges and concerns, but the basic process and principles of requesting accommodations apply. I'll talk more about how to request accommodations in the next slide. We will work interactively with you, your faculty, and program staff to determine reasonable accommodations for your classroom, lab, and/or research environments. We will also happily assist you with any other accessibility issues that arise for ongoing meetings, professional conferences, campus events, and student organizations. Whether you're a first-year student, transfer student, or a graduate student, there is a simple three-step process for requesting academic accommodations. Students complete our online application, submit documentation of disability, and participate in an intake interview with one of our access coordinators. Our application form prompts you, the student, to provide some basic background information and answer some questions about you and your experience with disability, any accommodations you may have received in the past, and the kind of accommodations you think you might require at the university. Don't worry about filling it out incorrectly. There are no possible wrong answers on the form. It just assists us in beginning our conversation with you about your accommodation request. If you have any questions about the form or how to access it, feel free to let us know. When a student completes the application and requests accommodations, we are responsible for evaluating their eligibility for services under the Americans with Disabilities Act and Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973, and then determining reasonable and appropriate accommodations. We do this through an interactive process, taking into account a student's narrative of their experiences, our own observations and understandings of the university environment, and supporting disability documentation. Our website has some helpful guidance that you can share with your medical providers as to the kind of documentation that may assist us in making our determination of eligibility. And we are happy to answer any questions that you might have about providing documentation. Incidentally, you can also register with our office and be added to our mailing list without requesting accommodations. Simply complete an application and then note on the application that you are registering with our office and not requesting accommodations at this time. There is no requirement that you upload documentation in order to do so. The initial intake meeting is when we get to meet with you, either online, over the phone, or in person, depending on the current COVID protocols. We really want to learn about you, your lived experiences as a person with a disability, and we'll ask you about your experiences with any accommodations, access services, and assistive technologies and/or strategies you may have found helpful in the past. During this intake interview, we will review your accommodation request with you, discuss services and resources, and answer any questions you might have. These steps do not have to occur in the order listed here. A student may wish to meet with an access coordinator before they fill out an application for services. and they might have an intake interview before they submit their documentation of disability. You should know that there is no deadline for beginning this process. Students can request accommodations or changes to their approved accommodations at any time during the year. That said, the process does take time, so planning early and contacting us well in advance of when you will need your accommodations is a really great idea. Even if you are not sure you will actually use your accommodations, it's best to complete the process and have your accommodations approved and in place if and when you decide and feel it becomes necessary to use them. Planning ahead is always your friend. Trust me. Enough said. Academic accommodations are determined individually on a case-by-case basis. They are based on specific disability-related barriers to access that may exist and the specific academic environment or requirements that are being accommodated. Accommodations are not determined solely on what an individual's specific condition or diagnosis might be. We might work with two students, for example, who have the same disability diagnoses but have different approved accommodations. This will be because the barriers they experience related to their disabilities may be very different, or they may find themselves in completely different environments. Also, accommodation needs may change over time. It's not uncommon for students to reach out to their access coordinator to request a change to their approved accommodations over the course of their time at the university. One thing an accommodation cannot do is to fundamentally alter an essential requirement of a program or course. For this reason, we work closely with our faculty and other campus partners to make sure that accommodations are reasonable and appropriate for any given situation. Examples of some of the accommodations that students would receive include various testing modifications, note-taking assistance, and access to various kinds of assistive technology and software. Accommodations might also include access providers such as ASL interpreters and captionists, help with converting documents to more accessible formats, or requesting specialized furniture or modified lab equipment. Students are responsible for any personal services or devices that they might need. If you have any questions about what the university can provide and what students themselves are responsible for providing, feel free to contact our office to discuss. The Office of Disability Resources uses a computer system called Accessible Information Management, or AIM for short. Once you're registered with our office, you can log into AIM through the DR Student Portal and select the approved accommodations you plan on using for each of your classes. This will create and send a faculty notification letter. This is what lets your instructors know about the accommodations you will be using in their class. We will see an example of one of these letters in the next slide. You can also use the student portal to schedule exams with accommodations, to request new or modified accommodations, download accessible texts and materials, and request an appointment with your access coordinator. In many ways, this helps you as the student to be in the driver's seat. You control what you're communicating to your faculty, and you make your own decisions about which of your approved accommodations you think you might need for any class. We will be happy to show you around AIM and to help you to use the features available to you through the DR Student Portal. Here is an example of a faculty notification letter. This example letter tells the instructor that Donald Duck, he's our favorite hypothetical student, is legally eligible to receive some academic accommodations in that specific class. It reminds faculty of their obligation to keep this information confidential and provides them with some basic information about what the accommodations require. In this case, Donald has been approved electronic versions of classroom materials and extra time on tests and quizzes. The letter only contains information about the accommodations which have been approved, not about any specific disability-related information. The letter also lets the instructor know that we are available as a resource to them if they have any questions about the accommodations or about creating accessible content and learning environments. Again, the faculty are not notified that you have an academic accommodation until you, the student, log into the student portal and select accommodations for that class. And that's something you will do every semester. And don't forget, we are always available to help with that process or if you have any questions at any time. The Office of Disability Resources works with students and faculty on making sure your classroom experience is accessible, but we can also assist students with non-academic accommodations. Students requesting housing accommodations should complete the Disability Resources online application for requesting housing accommodations and submit documentation of their disability. Please note that students must also complete an application for housing with the Office of Residential Life and Housing Services. For more information on housing accommodations, please contact our office or check out our website under Students and Non-Academic Accommodations. We'll be happy to answer your questions and/or make referrals to other campus resources if you have questions about accommodations related to dining, transportation, and parking, or about accessibility for any campus activity or event. By the way, since this is meant to be a tour, here's a picture of the home base for Disability Resources, Taylor Hall, which is on the UR River campus near Wegmans Hall and the Hagem Quad. My friends and I in Disability Resources are here to assist with whatever you might need as a student on the UR campus. Let us know, for example, if you feel like you'd like some hints on ways to approach your faculty for help with an assignment, or how best to advocate for your needs as a student with a disability at the university. Maybe you're looking for some extra academic coaching. We'd love to connect you to resources that could help you develop better time management, study skills, and test-taking strategies. If you're ever feeling super stressed or overwhelmed, let us know, and we can direct you to the best next steps. There are always people on and off campus who can help. And you can always talk to your access coordinator to brainstorm possible solutions to access challenges that might pop up unexpectedly. Or if you experience some temporary medical condition that might interfere with your academics, let us know and we'll see how we might be able to assist with that. And if you come up with a great idea for a program or support that you think might be helpful to you or other students, or you might come across a resource that you would like to share with other students, please feel free to share those with us. Honestly, there's no wrong reason for reaching out to us. We're all friendly and approachable and would love to hear from you. And finally, with this closing slide, I'd just like to share all of the places you can find us online and how to contact us. Thank you so much for joining me on this brief tour of the Office of Disability Resources at the University of Rochester. Take care. We look forward to meeting you.